The mysterious arrival. The Empire emerges. It was an ordinary day on Earth when everything changed. The skies, usually calm and clear, were suddenly filled with strange, ominous shapes. At first, no one could tell what they were. People looked up in confusion, some thinking it was just another military exercise, others believing it to be an unusual weather phenomenon. But as the shapes grew larger, it became clear this was no ordinary event. The first signs of the alien fleet's arrival came at dawn. A few small dots appeared on the horizon, and soon those dots expanded into colossal ships that seemed to blot out the sun. The world's most powerful telescopes captured images of the vessels. They were enormous, much bigger than any human-made craft, and they were coming closer with terrifying speed. The news spread like wildfire. Media outlets from every corner of the world broadcasted the scene live. People stared in disbelief as the ships grew larger and larger. They were too big to be ignored. Soon, experts from all over the world were speculating. Was this a new discovery, a sign of some cosmic event, or was this the beginning of an invasion? The ships didn't look like anything humanity had ever seen before. They were sleek, metallic, and almost organic in design. It was as if they had been made for a different environment, a world far removed from Earth, and as the ships approached, strange lights flickered across their surfaces, as though they were alive, communicating with each other in a language no human could understand. Scientists scrambled to gather information. Communications were sent to space agencies around the world, trying to make contact, trying to understand what this strange phenomenon was. But all attempts to reach out to the approaching ships were met with silence. The ships didn't respond. They just kept coming. The first group of ships entered Earth's atmosphere silently. They moved with precision, like a swarm of bees following an unseen path. The world held its breath. There was no sound, no warning, just a sense of dread in the air. The ships hovered just above the planet's surface, casting shadows that stretched across entire cities. And then, as if they had been waiting for something, they began to descend. Across the globe, panic erupted. Governments scrambled to organize a response, but the world wasn't ready. Military forces mobilized, and air defenses were put on high alert, but the enemy seemed unstoppable. It wasn't long before reports came in of alien ships appearing over major cities: New York, London, Tokyo, everywhere. No one could understand why the ships were hovering over specific areas. Some said it was to strike fear into the hearts of humanity. Others believed it was a demonstration of power. Whatever the reason, one thing was clear: the aliens had come to Earth. Amidst the chaos, one voice rose above the rest. Dr. Emily Carter, a scientist at the Global Space Defense Agency, was the first to theorize that these ships weren't just visiting. They were preparing for something far more terrifying. "They're here to invade," she said in an interview, her voice trembling with fear. "And they're not here to ask for help. They're here to take over." Her words struck fear into the hearts of millions, but they also brought a sense of clarity. The world had seen invasions in movies and heard about them in stories, but this was real. And the alien fleet wasn't waiting for an invitation. It had come for Earth, and humanity was not prepared for what was coming next. For the first time in history, Earth was faced with an enemy unlike any other. The ships hovered above the planet, their vast structures casting massive shadows on the ground below. The Earth's military forces tried to fight back, but their weapons seemed insignificant compared to the might of the alien armada. The aliens showed no signs of aggression, yet they just watched from above, silent and unmoving. As days passed, the tension continued to grow. Earth's military attempted various strategies to gain an upper hand, but nothing worked. The alien ships had an energy shield that absorbed every missile, every laser fired at them. It was as though they were invincible. And all the while, the ships above remained still, unmoving, waiting for something. The world's leaders gathered for an emergency summit, but the fear in the air was palpable. They knew they were facing something unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. The possibility of survival seemed slim. Experts were baffled by the alien technology. How had they traveled so far? How did they appear so suddenly? There was no answer. But just as humanity began to lose hope, a small group of military commanders made a discovery. They detected a strange, low-frequency signal coming from one of the alien ships. It was almost imperceptible, but it was there. And in that moment, the realization hit them. The aliens weren't just waiting. They were planning. But what were they planning? And why hadn't they attacked yet? The tension in the world grew to a fever pitch. Earth's leaders had no choice but to prepare for the worst. As the alien fleet hovered in the sky, humanity had no idea that its greatest battle was only just beginning. The alien fleet unveiled. As Earth's leaders scrambled to understand the true nature of the alien fleet above them, the world watched in a mix of fear and wonder. The ships had been hovering for days, casting long shadows over major cities, but they remained silent, unmoving. The mystery deepened with every passing hour. What were the aliens waiting for? Why had they arrived so suddenly? And what did they want? It was then that Earth's military leaders realized the gravity of the situation. These ships weren't just observing. They were preparing for something far more dangerous. Satellite images and data collected by Earth scientists confirmed their worst fears. The alien ships were not a single fleet but part of a much larger armada, an invasion force that spanned across the stars. Each ship was a fortress unto itself, brimming with technology far beyond anything humanity had ever dreamed of. Reports began to trickle in from various parts of the world. Every ship in the fleet seemed to be perfectly synchronized, as if they were one giant entity. They communicated with each other in a way that humans couldn't understand, using signals that were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Every attempt to intercept their communications had failed. It was clear that these aliens were far beyond anything Earth's military could handle. A group of military strategists gathered in a high-security command center, trying to piece together what little they knew. The ships had no visible weapons on the outside, at least none that were immediately apparent. But there was something far more unsettling. The ship's surfaces were smooth, without the jagged edges or sharp features of a typical warship. They were sleek, almost organic in design, with glowing symbols pulsating across their hulls. These ships didn't just look alien, they looked alive. Captain James Mitchell, one of Earth's leading military tacticians, leaned over a holographic display, studying the images of the alien fleet. His face was grim, his eyes narrowed in thought. These ships aren't just designed for combat. They're built for something else. We need to understand their technology before we can even begin to think about how to fight back. With the world's best minds focused on deciphering the alien technology, the clock was ticking. Every day, more ships joined the fleet, and their numbers grew steadily. The world's defenses were stretched thin, and the military was running out of options. Earth's governments were forced to consider the possibility that their weapons might be useless against such an advanced foe. In the midst of this growing panic, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Emily Carter, the scientist who had first speculated about the alien fleet's hostile intentions, made a stunning discovery. The alien ships were using a form of energy that Earth's scientists had never encountered, something far beyond the capabilities of any human-made technology. It wasn't just advanced. It was almost magical. The ships seemed to feed off this energy, drawing power from it, and using it to power their shields, engines, and mysterious weapons. The implications were terrifying. If Earth couldn't understand this alien energy, there was no way to counter it. Humanity had no defense against something it didn't even understand. But Dr. Carter refused to give up. She turned to her team, desperate for any clue, any shred of information that could help. And then, one day, they found it. Hidden deep within the alien ship's communications was a pattern, something that looked like a map. It was encoded, of course, but with enough time, they began to decipher it. What they uncovered was a plan, an invasion plan. The aliens weren't just here to observe or trade. They were here to conquer. And the invasion was not just aimed at Earth. Their ultimate goal was to wipe out humanity and take control of the entire solar system. Mars, the Moon, and beyond. They'd wanted it all. Dr. Carter's voice shook as she relayed the information to the world's leaders. They've come for Earth, yes, but they're not stopping here. Mars is next. We're their first target. If we fall, nothing in the solar system will be safe. The news hit the planet like a thunderclap. People rushed to prepare for war. But the question remained, how could Earth possibly stand a chance against such an advanced enemy? The world's military forces were united in their resolve to fight back, but the odds were overwhelming. How could humanity face an enemy that had technology so far beyond its own? What weapons could possibly stand up to these alien ships, which seemed impervious to Earth's most powerful artillery? In the midst of this uncertainty, a small group of Earth's bravest soldiers and scientists gathered in secret. They knew that they were humanity's last hope. They would need to find a way to fight back, to stop the aliens before they could carry out their plans. But the clock was ticking, and the alien fleet loomed ever closer. As Earth prepared for the worst, the first signs of the alien fleet's next move began to unfold. The ship shifted position, and a low-frequency hum filled the air. Something was happening. The invasion was about to begin. But what was it that made the alien fleet hesitate? Why had they not attacked yet? And what were they waiting for? The answers lay in the alien ships themselves. Earth's survival depended on uncovering their secrets, and fast. And so, as the world prepared for the impossible, a new question arose. Would humanity's ingenuity and determination be enough to stop the coming invasion before it was too late? Humanity's last hope. As the alien fleet loomed ever closer, the weight of the situation became unbearable. Earth's military forces were doing everything they could to prepare, but there was a sense of helplessness in the air. No matter how much they tried to understand the enemy, nothing seemed to work. The alien ships were like nothing humanity had ever seen. Each one seemed to defy the laws of physics, and their energy shields absorbed every form of attack. Humanity's weapons, no matter how advanced, were useless against them. The battle was already lost, or so it seemed. But in this dark hour, Earth's last hope emerged in the form of Dr. Emily Carter, the scientist who had made the first breakthrough in understanding the alien technology. Her research, while limited, had given her a glimpse into the incredible power the alien ships wielded. Yet, Dr. Carter believed that there was still a way for humanity to fight back. She wasn't willing to give up. Not yet. I may not have all the answers, but I know this. If we don't take action now, we'll lose everything, she said, speaking with conviction to the small group of military leaders, engineers, and scientists gathered in a secure underground facility. The tension in the room was palpable, but Dr. Carter's words gave them a glimmer of hope. They couldn't afford to sit back and do nothing. Dr. Carter's team worked day and night, analyzing every piece of data they could gather about the alien ships. They studied the energy patterns, the communication signals, and the mysterious materials that made up the alien vessels. Slowly but surely, they began to unravel the secrets behind the ships. The breakthrough came when they discovered that the alien ships were powered by a rare and highly volatile energy source, one that could be manipulated if they knew how. But there was a problem. This energy was so advanced that Earth had no way of harnessing it. Yet, it would take a miracle, or at least a very risky gamble, for humanity to turn the tables on the alien fleet. The military forces, desperate for any kind of advantage, turned to their brightest minds for solutions. A team of engineers and scientists, led by Dr. Carter, developed a dangerous plan. They had to create a new weapon that could utilize the same energy source as the alien ships, a weapon that would level the playing field. It was an ambitious project, one that no one was sure would succeed. But in the face of imminent destruction, it was humanity's only chance. The weapon they created was unlike anything seen before. It was a hybrid of human technology and alien principles, built from the ground up in secret. The new weapon was a fusion of energy-based technology, capable of mimicking the alien ship's energy shields and using them to strike back at the invaders. But there was a catch. It was incredibly unstable and unpredictable. One wrong move could destroy everything. As the final touches were made, the world held its breath. Would the weapon work, or would it fail when humanity needed it the most? Earth's military forces stood ready, but the uncertainty was overwhelming. Meanwhile, the alien fleet above Earth remained silent, though its ships continued to move with terrifying precision. They hadn't launched their invasion yet, but it was clear they were preparing. The signs were there. The countdown had begun. Dr. Carter and her team knew that time was running out. Earth's military had little chance against the alien fleet without this weapon. But the weapon alone wouldn't be enough. They needed to find a way to infiltrate the alien ships, to strike at the heart of their invasion plans. A new dangerous plan was born. A group of Earth's elite soldiers was chosen to carry out a mission unlike anything humanity had ever attempted. Their goal was to infiltrate one of the alien ships, to find a way to sabotage their power sources, and to discover what the aliens were truly after. The mission was risky, and many knew that the chances of survival were slim. But it was the only option left. Captain James Mitchell, the same military tactician who had been studying the alien fleet, was chosen to lead the mission. He knew that failure wasn't an option. If they didn't succeed, the entire planet would be lost. "We'll need to move quickly," Captain Mitchell said, looking at his team. "We don't know what we'll find once we get inside their ships, but we have to be ready for anything. This is Earth's last hope." The soldiers suited up and prepared for what would be the most dangerous mission in history. They were the last line of defense against the alien invaders, and their mission could very well determine the future of humanity. As they embarked on their mission, the alien fleet's movements grew more deliberate. The ships were closing in. The first wave of their invasion was imminent. The soldiers knew that they had to strike before it was too late. The fate of the entire solar system rested on their shoulders. With a final glance at Earth below, Captain Mitchell and his team boarded their spacecraft, heading straight into the heart of the alien armada. Their mission was simple: infiltrate, sabotage, and survive. It was humanity's last chance to turn the tide of the invasion. As the soldiers entered the dark expanse of space, the tension was palpable. They were about to face an enemy unlike any they had ever encountered. But for the first time in this desperate conflict, humanity had a weapon that might just give them a fighting chance. And so, the final battle began, an epic fight for survival against an enemy that seemed unstoppable. The battle begins. The moment Captain James Mitchell and his team set foot aboard their spacecraft, the stakes had never been higher. The atmosphere inside the craft was tense, every soldier aware of the gravity of their mission. The alien armada, a fleet of ships far larger and more advanced than anything humanity had ever encountered, waited just ahead. In the next few hours, the fate of Earth, and possibly the entire solar system, would be decided. As they approached the alien fleet, a low, eerie hum reverberated through the spacecraft. The ships in the fleet were enormous, each one casting a shadow over the Earth below, almost as though they were silently observing. The strange, pulsating lights on their hulls made them appear otherworldly, and the air felt heavy with the weight of the unknown. The tension was almost unbearable as the team's ship entered the outer perimeter of the alien armada. No sooner had they reached their target zone than a chilling message came through, not from the alien ships themselves, but from an unknown source within the fleet. The message was brief, cryptic, and sent a wave of fear through the team. Prepare for the inevitable. It was a warning, one that made it clear the aliens knew they were coming. But it was too late for Earth to back down. They had no choice but to move forward. The team's mission was clear: infiltrate one of the alien ships, learn what they could, and sabotage whatever they could find to stop the invasion. As they carefully navigated through the alien fleet, the enemy ships remained eerily still. The crew tried to make contact, but all communication attempts were met with static. Nothing could be heard from the alien ships, and no one knew what to expect. Would they be attacked? Or was this just the calm before the storm? Suddenly, without warning, the first wave of alien ships began to move. In the distance, massive energy pulses fired from the alien fleet, followed by a series of explosions as they hit Earth's defenses. The sky over Earth was filled with flashes of light as the first signs of battle began. Back on Earth, panic set in as the enemy's firepower became evident. Human military forces launched their own counterattacks, sending fighter jets and artillery into the fray. But it was clear that Earth's military was outmatched. The alien weapons tore through human defenses with terrifying ease. Earth's forces were on the defensive, scrambling to hold their ground as the alien fleet advanced. Meanwhile, aboard the infiltration team's ship, Captain Mitchell and his soldiers knew they had little time. The alien fleet wasn't just attacking Earth's military. They were targeting key locations on the planet, including military bases, power grids, and communication hubs. If they didn't act quickly, the human resistance would be crippled. The team pushed forward, targeting the largest ship in the alien fleet, which appeared to be the central command vessel. They knew if they could infiltrate it, they might have a chance to understand the true purpose of the invasion, and perhaps find a way to turn the tide of the battle. As they neared their destination, an unexpected event occurred. A massive energy field surrounded the central alien ship, blocking their path. The soldiers had been prepared for something like this, but the intensity of the shield was far greater than anticipated. Their weapons were useless against it. For a moment, hope seemed to fade. But then, a voice broke through the tension. "Commander Mitchell, we got something. It's the alien shield. It's powered by the same energy source we discovered. If we can tap into it, we can lower the shield long enough to infiltrate the ship." It was a risky plan, but it was their only chance. Captain Mitchell gave the order, and the team scrambled to execute it. They had no time to waste. Every second mattered. The soldiers worked in unison, using the information they had gathered about the alien technology to hack into the shield's power source. It was a dangerous procedure, one that could overload the system and destroy their ship. But they had no other choice. With a final surge of energy, the alien shield flickered and collapsed. It was enough time to slip past the perimeter and land on the enemy ship. As the team boarded the alien vessel, the atmosphere was unlike anything they had ever felt. The interior of the ship was cold and sterile, with walls that seemed to pulse and shift as though they were alive. Strange, glowing symbols were etched into every surface, and the air was thick with the scent of something unfamiliar. The soldiers moved carefully, weapons at the ready, their footsteps echoing in the vast, empty corridors of the alien ship. They had to move fast. Every moment spent inside the ship brought them closer to being discovered. Suddenly, the ship's internal alarms went off, and the team knew their presence had been detected. A cold, mechanical voice echoed through the halls. "Intruders detected. Eliminate all threats." The team sprang into action, fighting off alien drones that emerged from hidden compartments. Their weapons, now empowered by the knowledge they had gained from studying the alien technology, were more effective than before. But even with their advantage, the battle was intense. The aliens' advanced technology made their defense systems nearly unstoppable. Captain Mitchell led the charge, using his tactical skills to outmaneuver the alien forces. Every corner they turned brought new surprises, as they uncovered more of the alien ship's secrets. But the deeper they ventured, the more they realized that this wasn't just an invasion. It was a takeover, a systematic process of colonization that had been planned for centuries. With their mission in full swing, the team reached the heart of the alien ship, the central command room. There they found what they had been searching for: information about the aliens' ultimate goal. The data revealed that the alien invaders weren't just looking to conquer Earth. They had plans to wipe out all of humanity, using a biological weapon that would render the human race extinct. But the worst part, the weapon was already in motion. The aliens had seeded Earth with a virus that would be activated soon, unless the team could stop it. The clock was ticking, turning the tide. The situation had never been more dire. Humanity was on the brink of annihilation, its last hope pinned on a small team of soldiers who had infiltrated the heart of the alien armada. Captain Mitchell and his team had discovered the truth. The aliens weren't just here to conquer Earth. They planned to wipe out all of humanity with a devastating biological weapon. And now, that weapon was on the verge of being activated. With time running out, the mission had become a race against the clock. They had to destroy the weapon, but that was only the first part of the plan. The alien fleet was still hammering Earth's defenses from above, and the planet was rapidly losing ground. If they didn't succeed, the entire solar system would fall under alien control, starting with Earth. The team moved swiftly through the alien ship's dark, labyrinthine corridors, racing to the central command room, where the biological weapon was being prepared for release. The alien drones that once seemed like an overwhelming threat now became a secondary concern. The true danger lay ahead, in the heart of the alien ship, where humanity's future would be decided. As they entered the central chamber, they saw it, a massive containment unit filled with a swirling, glowing substance. The weapon, the virus that would end humanity, was contained within a strange, bioorganic chamber. It pulsed with an eerie light, as if it were alive, awaiting activation. The alien technology had combined biology and machinery in ways that Earth couldn't even begin to comprehend. Captain Mitchell's voice was low, filled with urgency. "We don't have much time. We need to destroy it now." The team set to work, using the advanced tools they had acquired from their earlier sabotage of the alien ship systems. They had studied the alien technology long enough to understand that the virus was controlled by a central core, a neural link that connected it to the alien fleet's command center. If they could sever this link, they could stop the virus from spreading. But there was a problem. The core was heavily protected. It would require all of their skills to infiltrate it. While some of the team worked to disable the security systems around the core, Captain Mitchell made a discovery. There was a secondary component to the virus, a failsafe. If the virus was tampered with or damaged, it would trigger a deadly chain reaction that could destroy the entire alien fleet. But this wasn't just about saving Earth anymore. It was a choice between risking everything to stop the virus, or allowing humanity to be wiped out to preserve the alien empire. Captain Mitchell turned to Dr. Carter, his trusted scientist, for advice. What do we do? If we stop the virus, the fleet will retaliate. But if we don't? Dr. Carter's voice was calm, despite the pressure. We don't have a choice. We stop the virus. If we let it go forward, Earth will be destroyed anyway. But if we act now, we might just have a fighting chance. The decision was made. The team would destroy the virus. They activated the alien sabotage device, sending a surge of power into the containment unit. Sparks flew as the chamber began to break apart, and the glowing substance within started to destabilize. But then, something unexpected happened. The alien fleet responded. Above Earth, the sky darkened as the alien ship's energy shields flared to life, lighting up the atmosphere with flashes of bright, unnatural light. The invasion had begun in full force. The first wave of alien ships fired their devastating energy weapons at Earth's defenses, tearing through the planet's shields like they were made of paper. The battle was now a full-scale war, and humanity was on the edge of defeat. But Captain Mitchell and his team didn't have the luxury of watching the battle unfold from afar. They had a job to finish. As the alien fleet began their assault, the team fought desperately to deactivate the final failsafe and destroy the virus for good. With a final push, they succeeded. The containment unit shattered, and the virus was rendered useless. The core was destroyed, and the alien weapon that had threatened to eradicate humanity was no more. For a moment, the team stood in silence, catching their breath. The mission had been completed, but at what cost? The alien fleet was still very much a threat, and they had just made their biggest move yet. But now, humanity had a chance to fight back. Back on Earth, the military leaders received the news. The virus was no longer a threat. The alien fleet was still attacking, but now there was hope. They had time. Time to regroup, to strategize, and to strike back. The world's forces, united under the pressure of survival, launched a counteroffensive. Fighter jets, missiles, and energy weapons were unleashed against the alien armada. For the first time in this war, Earth wasn't just surviving. It was fighting back with everything it had. The alien fleet, caught off guard by humanity's resilience, began to falter. In space, Earth's ships and fighters engaged the alien forces with renewed determination. The new weapon they had developed, powered by the same energy that had once belonged to the aliens, began to show its power. Alien ships fell from the sky as Earth's forces used their own technology to turn the tables. Captain Mitchell and his team, having completed their mission, joined the fray. Their ship became a symbol of hope, of resistance. The fight wasn't over, but humanity had found its footing. The alien fleet had underestimated Earth, and now it was beginning to pay the price. A last stand. The news of humanity's victory, though small, was enough to reignite hope across the planet. Earth had managed to stop the biological weapon, but the war was far from over. The alien fleet, despite taking significant losses, still loomed above the planet, its forces relentless and its goal unchanged. Earth's military, though emboldened by their victory, was far from prepared to face such a technologically superior foe. Captain Mitchell and his team, now hailed as heroes, knew that the next phase of the conflict would be the real test. The alien armada was far from broken. It was regrouping, recalibrating, and preparing for a final push. The aliens had only one goal in mind: total destruction, and the remaining human forces had little time to prepare for the ultimate confrontation. As Earth's forces scrambled to organize a final defense, Captain Mitchell stood before the world's military leaders, his expression grim. "We've had a small victory, but the battle is far from won," he said. "The aliens are relentless, and we're running out of time. We need to hit them now, before they can regroup and rebuild their forces. We can't wait for another opportunity." His words were harsh, but they were true. The alien fleet was slowly closing in on Earth's defenses, and humanity had no choice but to make a stand, right here, right now. There would be no more time for preparation. The final battle had come. The world's military forces mobilized. A massive fleet of Earth's ships, fighter jets, and defense units took their positions in orbit around Earth. The alien fleet, though heavily damaged, still outnumbered Earth's forces, and its weaponry remained far superior. The odds were still stacked against humanity, but for the first time since the invasion began, Earth's forces had a strategy, one born from desperation and the need to protect their home. A new weapon, developed from the research stolen from the alien ships, was deployed. Earth's forces had finally managed to replicate the alien energy shields, shields that had once been the source of so much fear. Now, Earth's forces had the same advantage. The weapon was powerful, unstable, and experimental, but it was humanity's last hope. As the battle commenced, explosions filled the sky. Earth's ships clashed with the alien armada in a brutal, high-stakes fight. The air crackled with energy as lasers and missiles collided in midair, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The sheer scale of the conflict was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Captain Mitchell's team, having completed their mission inside the alien ship, had a new role: to lead the charge. They fought side by side with Earth's forces, using the alien technology they had salvaged to give their ships an edge. The alien fleet, though powerful, was beginning to show signs of weakness. The new weapon Earth had created was tearing through the alien ship's energy shields, giving humanity's forces a fighting chance. But the aliens weren't giving up. As Earth's forces began to gain ground, The alien armada retaliated with an unexpected weapon, something Earth had never seen before. A massive beam of energy shot from the center of the alien fleet, hitting Earth's defenses with a force so powerful that it threatened to wipe out humanity's last remaining ships. Captain Mitchell, knowing the situation was dire, ordered the remaining fleet to fall back. Earth's forces regrouped, but the damage was done. The aliens had shown their full power, and it was clear that Earth couldn't sustain this fight for long. The final weapon, Earth's last chance, had to be activated. The world held its breath as the final battle unfolded. The fate of humanity rested on one last desperate move. Captain Mitchell's team, now leading the charge, initiated the launch of Earth's new weapon, a weapon powered by the same energy source that the alien ships had once used to destroy Earth's defenses. With the push of a button, the weapon unleashed a massive pulse of energy into the heart of the alien fleet. The energy pulse hit with unimaginable force. The alien ships began to crack and break apart, their once impenetrable shields failing in an instant. For the first time in the entire war, the aliens were on the defensive. Earth's forces pressed forward, determined to take advantage of this rare opportunity. The alien fleet, caught off guard by the sudden turn of events, tried to retaliate, but it was too late. Earth's final weapon had done its job. The alien ships that remained in orbit were crippled, their energy systems failing, their shields falling. Earth's forces moved in for the final strike. In space, explosions lit up the dark void as the alien ships were destroyed one by one. The once mighty armada that had threatened to crush humanity was now falling apart, piece by piece. The alien forces, realizing their defeat, began to retreat, their once impressive fleet reduced to a fraction of its former strength. On Earth, the people erupted in celebration. The impossible had been achieved. The alien invasion had been stopped, and humanity had survived. The war had taken its toll, and the planet would never be the same. But Earth had stood strong, and the human spirit had triumphed. In the aftermath of the battle, Captain Mitchell and his team were hailed as heroes. Their bravery and determination had saved the world, and their names would be remembered for generations. But even as the celebrations began, the team knew that this victory was just the beginning. The alien threat had been eradicated, but Earth would have to rebuild, to learn, and to grow stronger in preparation for whatever the future might hold. Humanity had stood its ground against an unstoppable force, and against all odds, it had won. Victory and sacrifice. The aftermath of the final battle was one of both triumph and sorrow. Earth had been saved from the alien invasion, but the cost had been immense. Across the globe, people celebrated, but there was an undeniable heaviness in the air. Families had lost loved ones, entire cities had been destroyed, and the scars of the war would remain for generations to come. Captain Mitchell stood on the steps of a military headquarters, his gaze fixed on the horizon. The skies were clear for the first time in what felt like forever. The battle was over, but the work ahead was just beginning. The alien fleet had been defeated, and the invading force had retreated. But their invasion had left Earth in ruins, and it was now up to humanity to rebuild. Mitchell had never felt the weight of victory like this before. He had led his team through the most harrowing battle of their lives, and they had emerged victorious. But the victory had come at a terrible price. His team had lost members during the fight, and the destruction on Earth was unimaginable. Entire cities had been wiped off the map in the crossfire, and the alien weapons had left lasting damage to the planet's infrastructure. It was a bittersweet victory. Earth had stood strong against an overwhelming enemy, but the planet was forever changed. As Mitchell and his team reflected on the battle, they couldn't help but remember the faces of those they had lost. The memories of the fallen soldiers, the innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. Those faces would stay with them for the rest of their lives. In the days following the final battle, humanity began the difficult process of recovery. Governments across the world worked together to rebuild what had been lost. The global economy had crumbled, and the alien invasion had pushed the planet to the brink of destruction. But the human spirit, once tested to its limits, proved to be unbreakable. The survivors rallied together, and slowly but surely, the process of rebuilding began. Dr. Emily Carter, whose brilliant mind had played a key role in understanding the alien technology, worked tirelessly alongside Earth scientists to reverse the damage caused by the invasion. The alien technology they had captured was now being studied in hopes of advancing humanity's own capabilities, while finding ways to heal the planet's wounds. But despite the progress, there were those who were deeply affected by the war. Some questioned whether the cost of victory had been too high. Could the alien armada have been defeated without so much destruction? Would humanity have been able to recover faster if they had made different choices? These were the questions that plagued many in the aftermath. For Captain Mitchell, however, there was no time for regret. He had made the hard decisions, and now the time for rebuilding had come. As the world began to heal, he knew that Earth would never forget what had happened, what they had lost, and what they had fought for. The war had been a wake-up call. Earth had survived, but it had also learned valuable lessons. There was a sense of unity that had not been present before the invasion. The nations of the world, once divided, now stood together, their shared experience binding them like never before. The global cooperation that had emerged in the wake of the invasion would be essential in the rebuilding process. The war had taught humanity the power of working together, of overcoming differences for the greater good. The scars of the war would take years to heal, but there was one thing that no one could deny. Humanity had proven its resilience. It had faced an impossible enemy, one far more advanced than anything they could have imagined. And yet, Earth had prevailed. The alien invasion had been stopped before it could reach Mars, and Earth was alive. The victory belonged to every person who had fought for their home, whether in space, on the ground, or in the shadows. As the years passed, humanity slowly rebuilt itself. The scars of the war were never forgotten, but they became a symbol of what Earth had overcome. The cities that had been destroyed were rebuilt, and new technologies emerged from the ashes of the old. Earth was stronger than before, more united, more aware of its place in the vastness of the universe. Captain Mitchell and his team remained a symbol of that strength. They were remembered not only for their bravery, but also for the sacrifices they made to ensure that humanity survived. They were the ones who had turned the tide in the final battle, who had led humanity to victory against an unstoppable enemy. They had faced the impossible, and they had come out on the other side. But even as Earth moved forward, there was always the knowledge that the galaxy was vast, and new threats could rise at any time. Humanity had fought one alien invasion, but the stars were full of unknowns, and so Earth continued to prepare to grow and to defend itself against whatever might come next. The victory over the alien invaders was more than just a battle won. It was a reminder that humanity, no matter the odds, would always find a way to survive. The alien armada that had come for Earth had been erased before Mars. But in the end, Earth had proven that the spirit of humanity could never be defeated.